Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
The views and opinions expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of 580 WCHS, its employees, or WVRC Media. From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, good Monday morning to you, and welcome to the show. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Jarrett Construction Studios, right on time, right on budget. Visit jarrett-construction.com. Phone calls to the show, a service of Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, Spring Street, Charleston. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor, Virginia Street in Charleston. Check out bassmastertaylor.com. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I know I did. I'll talk about that a little bit later on. Also, we're going to talk to Charleston Mayor Amy Shuler Goodwin. She's going to join us later on in the show. If you have a question, a comment, concern about anything going on in the city, we got several things in the news to get to, but we prefer to leave it up to you. So if you've got any comments, questions, the mayor's real good about this. She comes in at least once a month, sometimes more, to take phone calls. And now is your opportunity to talk to her. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858, or Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. Let's welcome to the show now the former mayor of Charleston, about to be best-selling author, Danny Jones.
I used to come in every day.
You did? I remember. I listened every day.
You know, when I did that, Rod said to me, he said, let me get this straight. We do everything we can to protect you from extraneous phone calls. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to subject yourself to them wide open.
Right.
And I never had any problem. And I'd take my phone calls.
Well, here's the problem I have seen, Danny, a lot, and it doesn't matter whether it's, you or anybody else. There's a lot of people that will get that keyboard commandos that will go online and say things. And it doesn't matter who the politician is. It could be any political person. But when they get an opportunity to actually be constructive, offer some constructive criticism, a lot of times they don't.
Yeah.
And that's what I have found, again, with a lot of political people. And it's not their fault. I'm just saying that people would rather go on and put something on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, as opposed to saying, okay, I've got this issue. Mm-hmm. And it's usually the most venomous type things. It's not, hey, we've got a pothole over on so-and-so. Can you check on it? That happens. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times it's people who want to, really question their political. They're questioning them as a person. They don't like them personally, but they'd rather post it as opposed to calling and saying, okay, hey, here's the problem. So that happens a lot. Again,
it's because they don't have a problem. They don't have a problem. Mm-hmm. They just don't like the person.
Right.
They don't like her. They didn't like me. Something like that.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of not liking you, I'm kidding. There was and I don't have it with me right now, but there was an article in the paper
column
on the op-ed page on Saturday, and it had to do with harm reduction. And that's one of the things you said that you're going to talk about it, in your book, which we'll get to a little bit later on. But in your time as mayor, that was one of the, if you had to narrow it down to like 3 or 4 big stories, it was at least in the top 5.
Yeah.
And your take on, because you were very opinionated about.
Well, we proved it was a fraud. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to have the president's council got up. He was for it, and of course, he didn't live where the needles would arrive. The people that were for it didn't live where the needles would turn up. They didn't turn up in their driveways. Mm-hmm. But you held up an application you had to fill up. But we proved that was a fraud. We did an undercover thing, no application, no needles to return. Here's 40 needles. Yeah. And we shut it down.
See, we were talking off air, and I asked you if you'd read the column from Joe Solomon, and I called it needle exchange, and you quickly jumped in and said it was not an exchange.
It was a mill. It's a needle mill. It was there is a needle exchange, and it's down at
Health Right.
Yeah, and Health Right treats these people as patients. And if you come in, you're tested. First thing, you fill out all kinds of forms because they're going to find out if they can get any money, Medicaid or any kind of money to help finance what they're trying to do, which is pretty smart. And the second thing is that they're going to treat you as a patient. And a third of the people that use their facility go into treatment where there's no record of anybody that went down to the needle mill down at Canal Charleston Health Department. None of them, number one, were tested before they went in there. They don't know if they stopped any HIV or Hep C or not because they didn't test them before they went in there. They just gave them needles. Where it's the opposite down at Health Right.
There would be those. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I have made my opinions on this very well known. Sometimes we'll have somebody that'll text the show and they'll think I'm too liberal on things. You don't want my opinion on things like this if you think I'm too liberal on anything. But there are people that would say, well, we have to save lives. And if we can save a life, we'll save a life. And to that, you would, no questions, whatever. You would say what?
Give them the dope.
Just give it to them.
Give them the dope. Yeah. Just give them. It makes more sense. It takes the criminal element out of it, and you could put sanctions against them. You'd take away their driver's license.
I mean, but this is something, this will have to be changed in code. You can't just be,
I understand that.
I mean, and that's not going to happen in West Virginia.
If you're going to do a needle exchange, you do it the way they do it at Health Right, not the way they were doing it down here. Any given Wednesday, they might give out 12,000 needles. They didn't test one person before it went in. We documented all this. And it's in the book.
It's in the book.
Oh, it'll be in the book.
When we had you on, in the last couple of weeks, you said that was going to take up a lot of the book. Was that?
Well, it's taken up too much of the book.
Okay.
It took up too much of the book. You had one person who's all for it, and then you had J.B. Akers who shoots it all down because he did FOIs, he did everything. He documented the thing was a fraud, and it was Brummage and the doctor, and it was just one big mistake.
Was there any regrets from you as far as mayor for the way you handled the whole thing?
Sure, because I voted for it to begin with. I thought they were going to give away 100 needles a week. I didn't know they were going to give away thousands, but the people that wanted it. First thing, it was personal. They were against me. And the people that wanted it, it didn't reach their driveways. And they just wanted to beat me. And they liked Brummage, the doctor. But we proved the thing was a fraud.
So you actually did undercover? I mean, not you personally, but you said undercover.
And I didn't know they were going to do it.
Right.
Yeah. Chief Cooper.
Do you talk about that in the book a little bit about the undercover work?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember.
We'll have to read the book. But Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Pinnacle Consultants. Poor indoor air quality can cause a variety of health issues, allergies, respiratory problems, and more. Pinnacle offers specialized indoor air quality services for residential and commercial and industrial type settings. Check out pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can't hurt you.
They wanted to take the abortion building down there on the west side. You know, that building. And some people came in here and wanted to turn that into a needle mill. They wanted to do a needle exchange, so-called exchange right there. Mm-hmm. And the council voted it down. Thank goodness.
I just, and I am not, and somebody will point out and say, well, where's your doctorate from? And I don't have one or anything like that. I am just not of the thought process, Danny, that continuing that sort of behavior and aiding that sort of behavior is going to help anything. Now, you can come up with studies that will say it helps. You can come out with studies that say it doesn't help. I mean,
if you do it the way they do it down at Health Right, mm-hmm. it helps.
Okay.
And if they take 30 needles, they have to bring 30 back. Mm-hmm. And a third of them go into treatment. A third.
Right.
Where there's no documented evidence of anybody at this mill down at Canal Charleston Health Department went into treatment or were tested before they went in. And that's a big quantifier because if you're not tested before you go in, how do you know if you're preventing anything? Mm-hmm. How do you know if you're preventing?
And the mindset, I think, from a lot of the people that are for these things across the country, a lot of the mindset, Danny, is well, they're going to do it anyway. So drugs, and we need to make it safer. That's the mindset a lot.
Well, they can go down to Health Right, mm-hmm. but there's other ways to do heroin. I mean, you can smoke heroin. And you can buy needles. You can buy them in the store.
Right. Yeah.
So. I don't think the way that one was operated. Mm-hmm. And thank goodness council voted it down. Under Mayor Goodwin, they voted it down. Mm-hmm.
So what's the latest on the book? What are we looking at as far as?
I don't know. Charlie called me last night. And we're looking at the earliest November 1st and maybe the middle of November.
Got to get it in time for Christmas.
Well, I said, Charlie, I hope somebody buys this thing.
I don't think you're going to have to worry about people buying your book.
Well, you don't know. I mean,
it's a crapshoot, I know, but you're going to have people buy the book. I mean, trust me. I'm even going to buy one.
You don't know, though, David. You don't know if people are going
to. They'll buy the book. Trust me.
It's a book. We've done the most expensive way. Mm-hmm. It's a hardback with flaps, with a cover. The pictures are in color. It's done the right way.
It's not like a church cookbook or something. You did this the right way. It's going to be.
And if we hadn't stopped, and it was your fault we stopped.
Well, how's it my fault?
You said to me, "Are you going to put the recipes in in the book?" And I said, "We'll do that in the next book." And I got home and called Charlie. I said, "Charlie, let's do a second book." Mm-hmm. But we got to stop this or we're never going to stop it.
Right, yeah.
So we did.
Okay. Speaking of the restaurant, I got to tell you a quick story before we go to break. Semi-funny story here. Apparently not everyone got the message that you had closed the restaurant. Last week, Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that last week, I get a text from Aaron Parker from our news team up here. And he said that some people called the newsroom because they were trying to call and there was no answer down there, and they wanted to know if the phone was out. So, not everybody got the message, and they were very disappointed. I had to tell Aaron, no, that
was a painful experience.
Yeah,
$5,000 plumbing problem, and you gotta make a decision here,
right?
You can't. You're going to keep chasing the past, so I just packed it in.
It's unfortunate. I mean, it really is, but I understand.
Yeah,
I completely understand.
It's sad.
All right, I got a couple questions for you via the text line here. One says, let me read the question, and we'll take the break. A question for Danny. Several whistleblowers have come out and said the Chicago police are being ordered not assist ICE agents, even if they're being physically attacked. So tell me, how is this not obstruction of justice? You can't tell local and state agencies to not assist the FBI, so why is this acceptable and encouraged?
I actually think you can. I think it's wrong. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's obstruction. I think it's mismanagement. And ICE are police officers. That's what these ICE agents are, police officers, and it's wrong. So I agree it's wrong. I don't think it's obstruction.
All right. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by the all-new Generations Ford of Hurricane. Visit generationsford.com. We'll take a break. More with Danny Jones when we come back on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
What if the market drops after you retire? What if healthcare costs continue to rise? What if you outlive your savings? If these questions keep you up at night, you're not alone, and you don't have to figure it out alone. I'm John Burdett with 4th Avenue Financial, and I specialize in retirement income planning. Let's turn your what-ifs into a plan you can count on. Schedule your free consultation today at 4thavenuefinancial.com. 4th Avenue Financial, retirement done right.
Securities offered through Jenny McCole Financial Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Jenny McCole Advisors Incorporated.
Seasons are changing, the kids are back in school, and cooler weather is on the way. But one thing that always remains consistent is the car buying experience at Walker Chevrolet in Nitro. You see, that's because Gene and Ryan built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. There are no gimmicks or games at Walker, just honest, fair deals, and the process at Walker is remarkably simple. They help you find a vehicle that you love at a deal that makes you smile. And don't forget, Walker is still buying cars too. Now, all makes and models are welcome, and they'll give you top dollar for it, even if you plan to buy somewhere else. But why would you? You know, it's good to know that in a world full of constant change, there are some things that remain consistent, and that some car dealers still believe in treating you like a friend with a smile and a handshake. Head to Walker Chevrolet in Nitro, in the shadow of the Interstate Bridge, just off the Nitro exit of I-64. Walker Chevrolet, making friends one deal at a time.
Welcome back to the show. It's 9:24. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. This month, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and an order of 50 cinnamon bites. Only $20.99. Find your closest Huston's for delivery, pickup, or dine in at HustonsPizza.com. Former Charleston Mayor Danny Jones is here as he is each Monday. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Vitaylor text 304-935-5008. Text says on the needle program we were talking about earlier, God forbid we demand these people get clean instead of contributing to their slow suicide by giving, all caps, by giving them taxpayer-funded needles.
Well, I think the point of the whole program is that they're not going to get well. They're not going to quit using unless there's a program in place that educates them along the way, as they do down at
Health Right.
Yeah, Health Right now. Mm-hmm. Down here at they didn't do anything like that down at Canal Charleston Health Department.
What's your take on the the partial government shutdown?
I don't know why they're getting paid. I mean, I understand Carol Miller is not taking her paycheck.
Yeah, she'll be on Metro News Midday today to talk about it.
But I don't know why any of them are getting paid. Mm-hmm. If they can't fund the government, what are they there for?
Right.
And they're getting paid. Mm-hmm. And it's wrong.
And I don't think this thing is going to be settled anytime soon. Do you?
I think President Trump's going to use it to punish people, mm-hmm. to eviscerate programs on the left and people on the left.
Right.
He's an eviscerator.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
he's not a conservative or a populist. He's an eviscerator.
No, I've said this from day one about Donald Trump, regardless of how you feel about him. He's not conservative. I mean,
no.
At all.
He's not even a populist. He's a guy that his whole thing is to, in the words of David Brooks, mm-hmm. eviscerate, mm-hmm. do away with things on the left or institutions on the left. This whole fight is about the Affordable Care Act. Mm-hmm. There's not much of it left.
Right.
And this would get rid of what's left of it. And it would hurt the state. It would hurt because it'll close hospitals. anybody that can get to a hospital can get health care. Your line in the emergency room might get longer, but you can get health care.
Yeah, and this came about during the Reagan administration. I heard a discussion about that on one of the TV talk shows yesterday. They were talking about that on, I think it was ABC on This Week. They were talking about that.
Yeah, you can get health care, but you can't get health care if you can't get to a hospital.
Right.
And the VA in Huntington, which is really in Kentucky, the VA in Huntington is full of staff. And the reason it's full of staff is because the hospital in Ashland closed. And that closed before this happened. So hospitals will close if they don't shore this thing up. This Medicaid thing, if they don't preserve the status quo, that's what's going to happen. It's going to close hospitals.
Well, and we can't even get to a place, and this goes back to what you and I have talked about on the air, we can't even get to a place where we know what we're arguing about.
No.
I mean, because everybody is owning it. Everybody is, well, it's because of the Dems. It's because of the Republic. And everybody's digging, just like everything else, Danny, we dig our heels in, and it's their fault. And it's never our fault.
The argument the Republicans make is all we're doing is going back to where we were before the Affordable Care Act passed. We still have Medicaid money. We just won't have as much.
Right.
Some states didn't take advantage of it. We did. Florida didn't. They didn't take advantage of it. We did.
I want to ask you something. I brought this up on the air last week, and I'm going to get your opinion. It has to do with President Trump. I have said that regardless of how you feel about President Trump, and you and I are on the same page on President Trump, Trump derangement syndrome is a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the people that are just obsessed with it. I was having coffee with my former radio station manager this morning. We meet for coffee every Monday, and he said something to the effect of Trump could cure cancer, and people would have an issue with it.
If he can, let me tell you something. He's going to look pretty good if he can formulate. He and Jared Kushner and that other guy can formulate a resolution to this mess down in Gaza. I mean, President Trump's going to look pretty daggone good.
But would you agree that there is a certain segment of the population that is absolutely obsessed with Donald Trump?
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, look, you can disagree with his policies, which I do on many, many things. You can disagree with him as an individual, which I do on many, many things. However, I see when he does good things, I'm willing to say it. And I want the president, oddly enough, strange thought, I want the president to do well. Whether I voted for him or not, I want because I want the country to do well.
I want him to do well in Gaza. Yeah. That's what I'm kind of obsessed with right now. I would go up to the Y every morning at 5, and I was walking the circle. Mm-hmm. I walk a mile every morning upstairs. They have TVs all over the place, and I'm looking. It's all about the Middle East and about President Trump, and I just hope he's successful. What a big deal that would be.
Indeed. Text says, Democrats are demanding $200 billion for health care for illegal aliens. No, I can't afford insurance at my own employer for myself, so no to my hard-earned tax dollars to pay for millions of people who should not even be here. The shutdown is on the Democrats.
Okay.
Okay.
You're not going to get any argument with me.
Text says, are people realizing what Republican policies are doing? They don't want you to have affordable health care. They don't want you to have a functioning and educational public school system.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Right. Before I let you go, I do want to ask you a couple things about it. Legislative interims are going on. Any recollections from any interims back in your day when you served in the legislature?
I liked them. Mm-hmm. And because they were casual, they were joint committees with senators. And by the way, you were asking me about Marja Burke.
I'm going to. That's the thing I'm going to do.
And she you were able, it was more casual. You could, everybody was a chairman. Mm-hmm. You know, it was just I liked interims. I thought they were good. And of course, they were all here then. They were all in Charleston.
Yeah. These are in Charleston now, but they do go around the state for different things.
Well, maybe they should.
Yeah.
They probably should. But when I was there, they were all in Charleston. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed interims. I thought they were good.
All right. You mentioned it there a couple days ago, and we talked about it on the morning news this morning. Marge Burke passed away. She served from 1978 through 1996 in the legislature, and the State Democratic Party was out with a statement about how she was a trailblazer for women in government. I'm sure Mayor Goodwin will want to talk about it. Your memories.
She's going to put the hay down where the goats can get it. That was her saying. That was her saying.
You want to put the hay down where the goats can get it.
And I think she was married to Billy Burke, who was the person that put together the regional jails. He was Gaston's guy that got together with Howard Yohe, who was the architect. Mm-hmm. And but Marge was a real nice lady, and it was very partisan back then. You know, Republicans. The preacher of the House, I can't remember his name. He was a conservative Democrat from Summers County. He has said, "Well, you all are down there in the amen corner. We do what we want. You all say amen." There were only 20 of us. Mm-hmm. 20 of
Republicans
us.
Were talking
yeah,
about, yep.
Only 20 Republicans back then. And but Marge was one of the Democrats, and if you were on a committee, you could get something done as a Republican. But the problem was a guy like Hatcher, who just died, if he didn't like what you did, he just wouldn't put it on the agenda.
Right.
He said, you pass it out of committee, well, bye-bye. It died.
How much time in your book, and we'll wrap it up with this, how much time in your book is spent on your days in the legislature?
Not much.
Not much?
No.
Okay.
I didn't, I not much at all.
Okay. All right. We'll wait for the second or third book on that.
It was I
want to hear stories about it, because I know a lot of these people you serve with, people like Bill Anderson from Logan County, and
Joe C. Farrell.
Joe C. Farrell, the late Joe C. Farrell. But Bill's still living. Bill lives in Florida, but Joe C. Farrell passed a couple of years ago.
He said that Harry, with Harry's read the book, Harry McLean, In Broad Daylight, Skidmore. Mm-hmm. He said you should have built up more as to why you ran for sheriff. In other words, there's something that happened when I was 24, and that was Rita. And
we'll leave it at that.
And when I was 34, I was elected sheriff of Kanawha County. What happened between those times that made all that change? Because there were some changes.
Right. All right. Well, we'll read about it in the book, but we'll talk about it a little bit more next week. How's that?
Okay.
All right. Former Charleston Mayor Dandy Jones, 25 minutes away from 10. We'll take a break. Current Charleston Mayor Amy Goodwin coming up next on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses live to make life better for you and your family.
When I set out to build our firm, it was built for greatness. It was built for you. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Office 222 Capitol Street, Charleston. Cases will be handled by West Virginia licensed attorneys. The attorney in this ad is not licensed in West Virginia. ForThePeople.com.
Hi, I'm Chris Waddell, Principal and Office Lead for Martinsburg for CEC. After serving in the military, I found my home in Martinsburg. Traveling across the states, I've always wanted to serve my community. At CEC, I get to do just that. Our core values, clients first and we own it, resonate with my mission-driven background. We solve problems by listening and collaborating, and as an employee-owned firm, we take pride in every project that we do. At CEC, we engineer progress in the great state of West Virginia.
Find out what CEC can do for you. Visit CECinc.com.
Hey guys, it's Jim Strawn for Bankers Life, and it's that time of year. Time to review your prescription drug and Medicare plan. Most folks find choosing the right Medicare plan very, very confusing. Our Bankers Life team of financial professionals can help you navigate and choose the right plan this annual election period. So don't wait and don't worry. Contact us. We can help. 304-757-4134 or dennis.harmonson@bankerslife.com.
The latest in news, talk, and sports on 580 WCHS is brought to you by Jarrett Construction. Visit jarrett-construction.com for more information.
Right on time, right on budget. Call on Jarrett Construction.
23 minutes away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Rich the Realtor and Meeks Realty Group. Check out this listing from Rich, 148 Glenwood Lane in Hurricane. It's the Woods and Iron subdivision. Move-in ready, 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths, a pool, and a fenced-in yard. Newly painted, new carpet installed this summer, listed at $499,900. Contact Rich for details, 304-932-7488. Text says, I was shocked. Yesterday, Andrea Mitchell said if Trump ends the war between Israel and Gaza, he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, says the texter. Text says, I like when Dave cheers on Trump. It's usually for something violent, unconstitutional, or when he's trolling. Dave says he's not a MAGA duck, but he walks and talks like one. Okay. Violent. I spoke out against January 6th. I thought that everybody that went inside the Capitol should have been arrested and jailed. Did not support that. Text says the only reason America gives a crap about the Middle East is because of the oil market. All that turmoil and death to keep the oil market stable. Do Christians and Jews who support this really think they have a pleasant afterlife? Text says Trump and Netanyahu bombed Palestine to rubble. Any president could have done that and would get the results that have happened, but previous presidents weren't as psychotic as Trump. Charleston Mayor Amy Shuler Goodwin is here. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How about you?
I am doing fine. Thank you for being here. I've got it.
Is that a cowboy shirt?
Of course it is.
Yes, looks nice on you.
Thank you. We won yesterday.
Yay.
We beat Mike Pushkin's Jets. If Dallas had a defense, we'd be okay because we got one of the best offenses in the league right now. But the defense is you and I could probably get 100 yards against the Cowboys defense. I wanted to ask you just real quick about the passing of Marge Burke.
Yeah.
She, of course, served, as Danny and I talked about, from 78 through 96 in the legislature. Your thoughts?
Sure. Actually, I knew Delegate Burke because she was girlfriends with my grandmother. My grandmother, Thais Frances O'Donnell Blatnick, Irish Catholic from the North, single mom of 3. And Marge had a lot in common in their time in the House. And then my grandmother went on to the Senate. But during their time in the House, they worked on family issues, women's issues. And, to be standing in that chamber, Dave, where, unfortunately, still to this day, it's very rare to see women walking the halls of the State House. They were 2 powerhouses, very outspoken. But, as I was listening to, conversations about her over the weekend and just a little bit ago, it is and allows me to sit back and reflect of a time. I almost remember like yesterday. I was a page. It could be a page. They still have pages. And it was so fun to be with my grandmother because we stayed in her hotel room and got to order cheeseburgers to the room. And that was super fun and got to go to the pool and swim at night. But where Democrats and Republicans did then what people should expect us to do now, which was have a healthy, respectful, professional debate, which just doesn't seem to happen any longer with all sides of all parties. And they did it, and they did it extremely well. You can be passionate about something. You can be thoughtful about something. You can have certainly your own opinions, and some of those opinions are backed up by fact. We always hope. But it was a time and a place that I watched my grandmother have hearty discussions on the floor and in the hallways. And I remember one time my sister, a different House member, actually she was in the Senate, different Senate member, different party, and they were discussing. And we walked away, and my sister said, we called her Mimi, and my sister said, my grandmother said, we're going to go back to the hotel, but we're going to have our dinner with Senator so-and-so girls. And my sister said, but Mimi, you don't like him. And she said, oh no, honey, he is one of my best friends. We're like, what? It was okay to have those discussions and then go and break bread. And it just sounds so trite. And so, I sound like a broken record when I say it. It's old. it's old. And, my children and the future of folks who are in public servant, what I fear, Dave, more than anything, is that it becomes such a circus and such a show that people are not going to want to run because they don't want to put up with it. I have a different philosophy about that. That won't bother me. People say, "Oh, did you see this online?" No, I don't. If you call my office or you text me or you email me and you want to sit down and have a conversation or you want to have a discussion about issues and be respectful and kind, yes. But if you want to say I'm stupid or fat or whatever online, I am not interested in that whatsoever. It just kind of junks up your brain.
I agree.
But I think it is also done by design. In the days of Marge Burke and her wonderful way about her, was just that. And I hope we can all go back to that.
And the passing of Kitty Dooley, too. You came on Metro News Midday and talked about it kind of last minute on Friday, but in case people didn't hear that.
Yeah, just such a loss. She was such a champion. And, I read the stories that you guys have posted and the testimonials of her friends and mentors and colleagues. I hope people know what she did behind doors as well, was to say to women, don't stand in the back of the room. Stand up here with us. Don't stop asking questions because that's a space that I feel like we're also getting into. I don't want to seem dumb because we should know because of these little things we hold in our hands all day. I feel like I should know everything. Well, Kitty didn't believe in that. She believed in continuing to ask questions and getting the perspective of everyone. She was a wonderful mentor to so many of us, a good friend, but somebody who captured millions of dollars in funding to make sure that our babies were taken care of and people had a safe place to live at the end of the night. Yeah, she was a great advocate for women and just an outstanding legal mind, but she cared about people, and that was the most important thing.
Talking with Charleston Mayor Amy Shuler Goodwin, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by your hometown baseball team, the Charleston Dirty Birds. The Salango Law Light the Night, returning to the ballpark November 21st through January 1st.
Love it.
Unsolicited comment.
I know. Sorry.
I'm kidding.
So
Get your tickets in advance by visiting dblightthenight.com. A couple things here I wanted to cover with you. The Charleston Land Reuse Agency is going to have a public meeting tomorrow night. It's going to be at Element Edge downtown to update residents on its work for vacant, abandoned, dilapidated properties, and trying to get them to somewhat productivity or, to make them productive. And there's going to be a presentation on the current projects and programs, followed by opportunity for residents to speak directly with the board. What can you tell us about that meeting?
Sure. Very quickly, I'll go backwards before I go forwards. I created the Land Reagency in 2019, and we have been building this group for many, many years. I say all the time, but it's always worth repeating. I've torn down since being mayor because we had a stockpile of homes that needed to be torn down. I don't like to tear down houses, by the way, Dave. I don't like to. We can rehabilitate them, getting them into use with another family. That is my ultimate goal. Now I'll talk about those 3 programs that we started. But I have torn down since becoming mayor over 700 properties plus. But you can't tear an entire city down and build it up at the same time if you're actually not building. I did a speech over the weekend to talk about building and how joyful it is, and it is. The Land Reuse Agency has 3 programs we're going to talk about just in a quick presentation. Our Home Ownership Property Renovation Fund, our rehabilitation of vacant houses, and our side lot program. Because, many of the spaces places that we have torn down, it may not be big enough to build another house, Dave, but by golly, it sure is nice to have that extra parking pad, especially on the east end and the west side where, now we have 2 cars, not just a 1-car family. And we're not just parking on the street. We'd like to park, or we want a bigger yard. We want to put a slicky slide in for the babies or want to have a nice garden. And so that has been a very popular program. So tonight we're not only going to share what we have done.
It's tomorrow night.
It is tomorrow. I'm sorry, tomorrow night. Yeah, tonight's council.
I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Yeah, we can talk about that in a minute. But tomorrow night, 5:30, Element Edge, we're going to talk a little bit about what we've done, but we also want to hear from you. The most valuable thing. You want to know what people really feel? It's something that we do, and we do all the time. We have so many community meetings because we should. We have so many town halls because we should. But the other thing I wanted to make mention, and I know I do this every single month. I try to do it every single week, hours and hours and hours. I go door to door. Still, I go door to door and just say, hi, I'm here. I'm with the government. I'm here to help. But I give them a flyer to say, here are all the numbers of every agency in the city of Charleston, all of our divisions, including mine. What do you got? Well, I was in Kanawha City last week, and several, when people say, let me tell you what people are talking about, I'll tell you what they're talking about. They're talking about neighborhood issues. They care about the things that are happening. Not only on their street, that light's out, Amy, get it fixed. Hey, that pothole. Hey, that cracked sidewalk. Hey, there are speeders. Kanawha City, there are lots and lots of speeding calls that we received, and certainly tackling that issue as well. But it's not only on their block, but it's inside their house. What is my neighborhood like? How about opportunities for my kids, jobs, paychecks? So it is, people are myopic, as they should be. These are their lives. And we have also gotten away from talking about things that really impact people. And when you can listen and learn from the things that they really, really care about, that's when you can make good progress.
You mentioned council tonight. One of the items on the agenda, authorizing the transfer of the $800,000, I think it is, from the opioid settlement fund to the CARE office.
Yeah, right. So, and for good reason, we're doing that to make sure that the CARE team is funded. There are fewer, grant programs out there to help sustain, but fortunately we have some of monies from the opioid settlement fund. Some of those monies, Dave, by the way, and I think I talked about it on this program. I know Matthew Sutton, my chief of staff, did. We have, with council's approval, are working with community organizations to help their funding to get out and do some recovery. It's everything from prevention and recovery, and it's going extremely well. Lots of folks, more applications than we have money in this first round. We're working with the United Way on it. So it's really beneficial. But the CARE team is the coordinated addiction response effort. Remember, I talked about walking houses when I ran for mayor. Mm-hmm. I wanted to know what people actually wanted, not just what people wanted them to believe. And we can get into that if you'd like. But it was the thing that I heard. My mother, sister's brother, she has addiction. Please help us. And so I started the CARE program, and our main goal is to get people into recovery. We have 2,000 people since we started we've put into recovery, and so we're very proud of that. But let me also hit on the heels of saying the CARE team also works with our police department. They also work with our fire department. I want to get you into recovery, but if you're here to take advantage of our kindness, if you're here to commit crimes, you'll go to jail. So it's, the CARE team has evolved over years, Dave, but it's funding to make sure that they can continue to do their good work. And also we have what's called the CARE One team, which is a member of the CARE team, member of the police department, member of the fire department, and they go out and they take on calls that the police officers don't have to go to. You talk about it all the time on this show. Our police officers are not mental health experts. They are experts in a lot of fields, and that's not one of them. We're getting better with our CIT training. But they go out in the field and they respond to the call. So a police team doesn't have to go out, that they have a 3-member excellent team. If we do need police, they certainly are called. The fire department and our medics go with them. If it's something that they can handle, they handle it there to make sure that your ambulance that you need is there for you and to intercept those calls. That's what municipal government is doing right now. We're doing the heavy lifting and the very, very hard work of this opioid crisis and, quite frankly, this mental health crisis, Dave.
Talking again with Charleston Mayor Amy Shuler Goodwin, 9:51. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. We're back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for supporting local small businesses.
Poca Valley has proudly served the citizens of Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties for over a century. As your trusted community bank, we're committed to building relationships and meeting your financial needs. And with the Poca Valley Visa card, you can enjoy competitive interest rates, no annual fees, and a rewarding points program, all from a bank you know and trust. Visit your local Poca Valley office to apply or call us. Poca Valley, where relationships matter. Member FDIC.
Fall is the season of adventure here in West Virginia, and your journey this year starts at Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Hurricane. Now, no matter what you've got planned this year, Walker has got the perfect vehicle to get you there in style. You need to get your family to the football game? Walker's got it. The pumpkin patch? Yeah, Walker's got that too. Everything from Jeep Wranglers and Grand Cherokees to fully loaded Cummins diesel-powered Ram 3500 crew cabs? Yeah, Walker's got them all. Gene and Ryan have loaded down the lot this year with inventory, both new and used, to make sure that you're going to find something that you love. And you know that you'll find the best deal possible at Walker because Gene and Ryan built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. There are no gimmicks or games at Walker, just honest, fair deals. So what are you waiting for? Fall is the season of adventure, and Walker has got the cars, trucks, and SUVs to get you there. Just take that short 20-minute drive from Charleston or Huntington to Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Just off the Hurricane exit of I-64. Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Making friends one deal at a time.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage West Virginia can count on.
Welcome back to the show. 7 minutes away from 10, the Dave Allen Show on 580 Line, brought to you by Bridge Valley Community Technical College. Insurance agents are in demand in the state and across the country. Bridge Valley can help you take that first step. Their insurance pre-sales licensure course prepares you to sit for the state-required property and casualty insurance licensure exam and to start your career in this ever-growing field. Check out bridgevalley.edu for details. Bridge Valley Community Technical College, your career starts here. One thing, Mayor, I thought was interesting is I come into Charleston every morning about 7:30. Now, keep in mind, I'm coming from Taze Valley, so sometimes it's 8:30. I attempt for it to be 7:30. But it's a good time to come into town because people, you know, in the courthouse and City Hall, whatever, are just starting to come in. One of the things, I posted some pictures on my social media, beautiful, beautiful sunrise this morning.
Yeah, really pretty.
But when you come in to town on Virginia Street, one of the things that I notice is all of the construction of those big buildings downtown. I mean, I like it because obviously, you know, you get people investing here in downtown Charleston. I don't know. Maybe it sounds corny. I just like, you know, when you're pulling into town at that time and you see the folks out there working and the sunrise and everything, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Sure. You know, and especially on that Virginia Street, as you come in off of the interstate exit there, it's funny. This has been, it's probably been a month or so now. My husband sent to me, I leave the house before he does in the morning, but he came down and he took a picture of just that stretch of Virginia Street, and it had cranes, plural, in it. And he said, I wanted to send you this picture because I know how much you love cranes. And I do. I love cranes because cranes in a city means development. It means progress. Now, I will say, we do get calls every now and then. Why is this sidewalk shut down? All the lights are out here. Well, when you're building, there's a lot of construction that goes on, and there's a lot of stuff that we have shut down to make sure that those cranes get in and HVAC systems get put on roofs. But there is a lot of construction going on in the city of Charleston, and we're super proud of that. But let me also say that just a hop, skip, and a jump, the Municipal Auditorium, and hopefully I sound like a broken record, but that is a building that we are still investigating with our architects and engineers. Can we save it? Can we save any part of it? And then what does that look like? And what is the investment that we should be making in that facility? So that's still on the table. And the huge big elephant in the room is the mall. And, you know, I always like to say, when people say, what are you going to do with the mall? And I say, well, it's not mine. It's like me saying, what am I going to do with your business? Where's your business in town? You don't want me coming in and doing it. But as we inch closer to some announcements on some future progress, I'm so incredibly excited about the development in that part of the city of Charleston. You can't have a thriving city if you don't have a downtown. City Center at Slack Plaza, we put $3 million in. We got $15 million back immediately in return. I play that investment game all day.
It is. You talk about the mall and municipal auditorium; those are things that I've been doing this show for 5 years, Mayor. Yeah. and I was talking about it in May of 2020. Of course, that was during COVID when I started doing the show, and people then were talking about the mall.
Yeah, sure. Well, people have been talking about the mall for 20 years, really. Yeah. And I remember when Danny Jones left office, and I'm sure he remembers this. He literally walked out of the office on that day and said, "Well, that's the anvil around your neck. Good luck." And he was right, by the way, but it's really hard when you don't have control of a piece of property.
It's a private business. And again, I think people fail to realize that, they'll say, why don't you do something, or whoever the mayor is. You can't tell people as long as they're following, all the regulations, you cannot go in and tell people how to run a private business.
That's right.
I mean, and that's what it is.
But I think that, as Commissioner President Salango and I continue our discussions about the Capitol Sports Complex also, it's going to continue on into that footprint of the mall. What can happen in that space and place? And what we do know is this, since changing the management at the Coliseum and Convention Center, and with all of the national and international attention that we've received on sporting events, we have a really grand opportunity to continue to build in that area of the city, which is quite frankly thriving right now.
Can you give us any hint at all as far as what may happen? I didn't think so. I just thought I'd ask.
Well, I'll just say this. When people say we need them all, we need look at Barboursville. We do have Barboursville. It's called Southridge, and by the way, half of it is in the city of Charleston limits. We do have that. People like to shop that way. Will we have the mall the way that the mall is? No, and that's okay. By the way, that's okay. If you look at the city of Charleston as we were building and growing, things change, and that is okay. Markets decide, though, those decisions. And so we're looking forward to having more development, especially in downtown, and housing.
And housing. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine, a podcast promoting healthier lifestyles in and beyond the state. Check out the latest episodes, WVMetroNews.com, under the podcast menu. Before we let you go, we're going to have a couple thousand of your closest friends are going to be on the west end of Charleston. Charleston Urban Works doing October West this weekend. All of our stations will be over there. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. Mayor, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you.
Quickly, Mr.
Morning,
Meadows,
TJ.
what you got, buddy?
Good morning, Mayor. 10:06, Amy Grady on the continuing education debate. 11:06, Jason Huffman, State Director for Americans for Prosperity. He's got a different take than Paul Hardesty. We'll get into that.
And he's calling for Mr. Hardesty to resign, right?
He did something like that last week, I think. Yeah, well, something like that.
All right. That's coming up at 10:06. I'll see you later today. Metro News Midday with 13 News and Tonight Live. Anchor Amanda Barron and me coming up noon to 3 today. It's Monday, which means we're going to introduce you to another wonderful mayor, Congresswoman Carol Miller, on the show today, and more. I will see you later. Till then, have fun and love somebody.
WCHS AM 96.5 FM Charleston and 104.5 Cross Lanes, a WVRC media station. We're proud to live here too.